So today is our quick drafting day for the fiction that we've been working on for the last couple days. So the materials that you need are your fiction outline that we turned in 2 class periods ago, and your fiction rough draft, which we started last class. Those are both in Schoology. You may also want your drawing nearby that you did when we visualized a scene from your story. So our goal today is to finish your first crappy draft of your fictional story. So remember, we're giving ourselves permission for our first draft to be bad, because our goal is just to get it written, to try to get our ideas down on paper, so that we then have something to kind of play with when we move into the revision stage of writing. So the first thing that I want you to do is copy and paste your fiction outline into your fiction draft. So I'm going to do that. Mine is here. I'm going to copy this from my outline, and I'm going to paste it into my draft. And my draft already has a paragraph in it from what we did last time. I'm going to put my outline up here at the top. And then I'm going to do one more thing before I move into the next stage. I'm going to divide up my outline into chunks. So like somebody wanted to be blah, 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 right? So I'm going to take that as my first section. And then, so I'm going to cut this right here. I'm going to make this bold so that it's easier for me to know that that's one of my sections. Then the next part is the but, what gets in the way of what this guy wants. So that's going to be like my next section. Then my next section, I've already started to write. He tries to convince himself that what he'd seen was not evil. So I'm actually going to delete that part of my outline here, since I've already started writing that part. And then my last part of my outline, I'm going to take and move down here, because I want to kind of keep things in sort of the order that I had them. And I'll go ahead and bold this too, since these are all parts of my outline. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections of my outline. Okay, so I've done that. There are some different tools and strategies that might help you today as you try to reach this goal of getting your entire draft done. One thing is the voice typing in Google Docs. If you're someone who feels like you're slowed down by typing, then voice typing can be really helpful. So the way that you use that is you go to Tools in Google Docs and you click on Voice Typing. When you click on this little microphone icon, the words that you say will be typed on the screen. And you can include punctuation and all sorts of things. So if I'm writing this part, Father Joseph wanted to be the world's leader in confirming miracles for the Catholic Church. I'm going to turn on my microphone and start kind of like telling that story verbally. So he had always wanted to be famous, period. When he was a little kid, he wanted to be an actor, period. Okay, so I have to be really careful and like make sure that I enunciate my words, right? But that might be something that you can do. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. We're not going for a perfect draft right now. So that's one option. Another option to move faster during the drafting process is to cover your screen with a sheet of paper. So if I were to take some paper and cover up my screen, it's going to prevent me from seeing all the mistakes that I'm making with my typing, with my spelling, my punctuation, all those little squiggly lines that like Google Docs will bring up and say, hey, this is wrong. But if I keep it covered, then I'm just going to type my story and ignore them and deal with them later. Because you will have time to deal with them later. So that's an option. Another option is if you do really well when you are competing with other people, kind of like make this a competition with one of your friends in class. So maybe whoever writes more during the 8-minute period of time that you're going to have to write today wins bragging rights. I don't know what you can win when everybody's at their own home right now, but make it a competition. And then the last thing that I could think of for today was the Co-Writer extension in Google Chrome. I know that some students really like that. So with Co-Writer, here it is. Here's this little icon. So you would go to the Chrome store and add it. And if you turn it on, it's going to bring up all these different words that it lets you kind of choose from. And it's even saying them out loud. So but he wasn't. And see, it's giving me some suggestions as I move through. For some people, they find that really helpful. Other people, like me, I get distracted by it, and that is not the app for me to use. So I'm going to turn it off. Oh, that's not what I want. Okay, so those are some tools that you could use. So the next thing that I want you to do is start writing. So I'm going to put a timer in here for 8 minutes. And when you have this up on your screen, you are going to basically take one section, right? So this right here for me is one section. And you are going to write about it for 8 minutes. And your goal during that 8 minutes is to try to write out what you imagine happening in that scene by the end of that 8 minutes. Okay, so go ahead and start with just that first section and write for 8 minutes. So when your 8 minutes is over for that first section, I want you to insert a horizontal line under what you just wrote. So I'm going to pretend like this down here is what I just wrote. To insert a horizontal line, you're going to go up here to insert horizontal line. And this is just for us to keep track of like how far we got. Then I want you to use the comment tool in Google Docs to write a note to yourself about what you may want to go back and change or add when you come back to this part that you were working on. So like, here's the comment feature. Let me move myself. Okay, and I'm going to write a comment to myself. Have him see something else scary. What else else did I want to do? Have him decide to hide. Have someone almost figure it out. Show that she's dangerous. Okay, so I have like 4 different things that I didn't get to when I was writing, but that I want to include. So I just made a note to myself. And then take a little mini stretch break, an eyeball break, listen to some music, look around, do whatever, before you move back to slide number 5. And you're basically going to repeat slides 5 and 6 until you finish writing out all parts of your story. And then what I want you to do is turn in your very, very crappy roughed draft. It may even be sort of incomplete, but you should have at least like 5 different paragraphs written by the time you turn it in today. So good luck with your writing. Remember that I do not expect perfection or even for it to be good as of today. The goal is just to get it done. So good luck, and go ahead and write me an email if you have questions while you're working.